Hello, this is my module introduction for module 4 of our ETEC 510 final group project titled Exploring the Big Ideas, a Teacher's Guide to the British Columbian Grade 7 ELA Curriculum. My name is Michael Yates, and this will just be a little justification video on how curriculums have changed over time and how that has influenced how teachers prepare lessons and plan for the future. So I'm going to look at the Ontario curriculum for grade 7 in 2006. I realize it was a while ago, but it didn't actually change until somewhat recently. Prior to the current holistic type curriculums, we basically had a lot of specific expectations that are under certain categories. So for example, oral communications, then you'd have curricular objectives that are listening to understand, speaking to communicate, and reflecting. We continue on into reading. So reading for meaning, understanding form and style, reading with fluency, and again, reflecting. And finally, you would have writing. So using knowledge of form and style in writing, applying knowledge of language conventions and presenting written work effectively, developing and organizing content, and then reflecting on writing skills. So what I'm showing you here is there was a lot of specific expectations given to you by the curriculum. This created a lovely little pyramid where we kind of had an idea of what a grade 7 student should be able to accomplish by the end of grade 7. And teachers had a lot of check-in points where they could basically pick and choose what they wanted to do their lessons on and map it out, which I will show later on. So this looks like a nice little pyramid. I did take away the media literacy and a few other ones because I just wanted it to look nice. So let's get a little more specific into oral communication. So listening to understand had obviously some overall expectations. So these could be thought of as the big idea type things that are in our current curriculum. But how they differed was like the individual specific expectations had very, as it states, specific things, like explain the connection between a speaker's tone and point of view or perspective presented in oral text. It even gave you teacher prompts. So what a teacher could do is take these and just pop them into the good old lesson objectives. So more than that, when you saw there was an entire pyramid of things, this gave you a very easy way of planning for your month, and curricular mapping was done quite simply because there are so many specific objectives, not just overall expectations. So now we change to the grade 7 ELA curriculum for BC, which is basically structured around 5 big ideas. Now, I'm currently going to be looking at exploring stories in other text, helps us understand ourselves and make connections to others and to the world. So that is an extremely broad statement. If we expect students to do this, we can't really compartmentalize it as well when we don't have any specific expectations. What we do have are these lovely comprehending correct learning or curricular competencies. So when we look at the one I was stating, basically you could apply a bunch of these curricular competencies to my overall exploring stories. So what I'm going to do in my actual application or my activity is bring you through a narrative writing example that touches on a few of these. But again, as you can see, this is not as cut and dry. So curricular mapping, this would be more difficult for a teacher, especially a teacher that's new and doesn't have a bunch of built up resources. So these holistic type curriculums are great for teachers that have been teaching for 10 to 15 years, have a built-up base and are used to putting all the blocks in place. But new teachers may be a little bit at a disadvantage. And that's the diagram that you saw before with the big ideas going down. So the lesson design goes from the big ideas, and then we try to fill in the learning objectives as we go.